So, what if I told you that the secret to becoming wealthy has almost nothing to do with how smart you are, and everything, and I mean everything, to do with how you behave? Now, I know that might sound a little weird, but just think about these two stories for a second. On the one hand, you've got this guy, Ronald Reed. He was a janitor, drove a used car. His friend said he used safety pins to hold his old coat together. But when he died, he quietly left behind an $8 million fortune. Then, on the other hand, you have Richard Fiscone. This guy was a Harvard-educated executive, massive mansion, a garage with 7 cars. I mean, he had every advantage you could imagine. But when the 2008 crisis hit, he lost it all. So how is that even possible, right? The janitor ends up a multimillionaire, and the fancy executive goes completely broke. This is the big question at the heart of Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money. And the core idea is actually pretty simple. Success with money isn't a hard science. It's a soft skill. It's all about your behavior. So today, we're going to break down 5 of the most life-changing lessons from that book. And to really get our heads around this, we're going to explore the game, the mindset, and what the true goal of money really is. First up, the game. This part is all about the big external forces in finance. We're talking luck and risk, and the single most important strategy you need to survive them. And that brings us to lesson 1, which is kind of a humbling truth. You are not fully in control. Yeah, hard work matters, of course it does, but so do things like timing and just pure random chance. I mean, think about Bill Gates. The guy was a genius, no doubt, but in 1968, he just so happened to go to one of the only high schools in the entire world that had a computer. That one stroke of luck gave him an unbelievable head start. Meanwhile, his friend, Kent Evans, who was just as smart, had the same dreams, died in a tragic hiking accident before they could even graduate. It just perfectly captures these two sides of the exact same coin. Luck and risk, they're like siblings. You can't separate them. As Housel puts it, success is never as good as it seems. Failure is never as bad. And that simple fact, well, it applies to every single one of us. And this just brilliantly shows the risk side of that coin. Meet Jesse Livermore. He was one of the greatest traders of all time. He famously bet against the market right before the 1929 crash and made an absolute fortune. In today's money, that would be over $300 million. But in the years after that huge win, he kept taking bigger and bigger and bigger risks. And he lost it all. He ended up dying completely broke. His final net worth was 0. And that story right there leads us straight into our next big idea. The very same skills that made Livermore a fortune were the exact same ones that led to his ruin. And that's because getting rich and staying rich are 2 completely different games. You see, getting rich, that often means taking big bets. It requires a ton of optimism and being okay with risk. Just think of Mike Tyson earning over $400 million, or Sam Bankman-Fried building that massive crypto empire. These guys were absolute masters of that first game. But staying rich? Oh, that's a totally different beast. That takes discipline, caution. It's about having a deep, deep respect for the downside. It's really a survival mindset, and it's a mindset that they both lacked, which in the end cost them everything. So here's the crucial point. The real winner isn't the person who burns the brightest for a short time. It's the one who just lasts the longest. Look at Warren Buffett. He didn't make his fortune with flashy, crazy bets. His whole philosophy is built on 2 incredibly simple principles. First, never interrupt compounding unnecessarily. And second, just survive. His real skill wasn't just picking stocks, it was avoiding that one big mistake that can wipe you out completely. Okay, so we've covered the external game of luck and risk. Now, let's turn inward. Let's look at the mindset, specifically this battle between what's invisible and what's insatiable. All right, when you see someone pull up in a brand new, shiny Ferrari, what do you think? Wow, they must be rich, right? But here's the thing. All you really know for sure is that they just spent a whole lot of money. And that reveals a really crucial distinction. Real wealth isn't the car. It's the money you didn't spend to buy the car. It's all the financial assets that you haven't turned into stuff yet. So, by its very nature, wealth is invisible. That's exactly how our janitor friend Ronald Reed became a millionaire. Nobody saw his wealth because it was just quietly compounding in a brokerage account, year after year, for decades. But, even if you master the art of building invisible wealth, there's another mental trap just waiting for you. And that is the danger of never enough. This might just be the hardest financial skill of all. Not making the money, but getting the goalposts to finally stop moving. I mean, just take the story of Rajat Gupta. This guy rose from poverty to become the head of McKinsey with a net worth of over $100 million. He had everything he could possibly need. But it wasn't enough. He wanted to be $1 billion. So he got involved in insider trading. And in the end, he lost his reputation, his wealth, and his freedom. It's the perfect, tragic example of this quote. There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. So why do people do this? Well, a lot of the time, we chase more money to buy status symbols, hoping people will admire us. But there's this weird paradox at play. When you see someone in a fancy car, you don't think, wow, that driver is so cool. No, you think, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. We use other people's stuff as a benchmark for our own desires. The admiration we're chasing, it's a total mirage. And all of this brings us to our final section. And honestly, it's the most important one of all. If wealth isn't really about Ferraris or getting people to admire you, then what is the real goal? Well, the answer is actually very simple. It's buying back your time. And here it is, the final lesson that ties this whole thing together. This might be the single most powerful idea in the entire book. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, is the highest dividend money pays. Forget the yachts, forget the private jets. The highest form of wealth is control over your own time. It's pure, simple autonomy. And you know what the best part is? You don't have to be a millionaire to get a piece of this. Even a small emergency fund buys you freedom. It means a surprise layoff doesn't completely break you. It means a bad boss doesn't own you. It means you can make decisions from a place of power, not desperation. Every single dollar you save isn't just a dollar. It's a piece of your future that you are literally buying back. So when you put it all together, you start to realize that the psychology of money isn't really about spreadsheets and numbers. It's about defining what a good life actually looks like for you. These aren't just lessons. They become your 5 financial truths. So let's recap. 1. Luck and risk are real. Stay humble when you win and be compassionate with yourself when you lose. 2. Getting rich and staying rich are 2 different skills. You gotta master the art of survival. 3. Real wealth is what you don't see. Focus on how much you save, not how much you spend. 4. You have to define what enough is for you, or you'll risk everything chasing something you don't even need. And finally, number 5. Money's highest purpose isn't more stuff, it's buying back your time and your freedom. Because in the end, you don't win the money game by having more than everyone else. You win by designing a life that is truly, authentically yours. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Are you chasing more, or are you building a life that actually feels rich?